So, this is for the Harbor Committee corruption on this meeting. I wasn't going to YouTube any, but this one is really just so vile that I just wanted to get it up there. So, before this was we had the public hearings for the outer harbor, and they're stringing residents along to make everybody believe that this is just the beginning stages of the planning, where the comprehensive plan has been worked on for 9 years already. I mean, I recall one member of the comprehensive plan committee for the harbor coming way back last year and asking Joe Slocum when it was going to be passed. So this is already a done deal, people. They're just fooling you with making these committees to buy some time. So, and in the public hearing, Kathy Pickering, the harbor master, put up a tainted map, and the other lobsterman, I can't find his name right here, called her out on it. He said that map was wrong. So they're spinning. So here we go. Let's listen to this. This is like unbelievable. They don't appoint the applicant, and then so I think John is just saying that to save face. They already know ahead of time that they're not going to appoint this. I can't remember what his name is. And then Mike Hurley goes and does a motion knowing that they're not going to vote on that to appoint Dave Black. And they take a vote, and the other three don't vote for it. And that never happens. They're always in sync voting. So this is totally choreographed so that Mary, Neil, and Eric can vote in the true people that they want. And Mike Hurley and John Arrison get to save face to say, oh, well, we tried, but it was the other people. What a gangsta group.
Concerned that because of the short period of work that the committee has to take on before December, that we need to get a committee in place pretty soon. And
like the Front Street Shipyard would be in jeopardy right now, and we wouldn't even have a committee in place. We wouldn't even started working on this with less than 6 months to go. So I predict they're going to get rid of the FNP. This way they knock the government out, and then Hurley gets to do what he wants, which will be give it to all the businesses.
I would first, I was wondering if, apart from filling positions, may I move that Dennis Trefry, who is presently serving as an alternate, be moved as a full position in this period of transition?
Nope, they're not doing it.
By my observation anyway, very much fulfilled his an active participant, though as an alternate, a non-voting participant, and
an
comes
honest
to the meetings
threat.
extremely well prepared.
Nope. Silence.
Are we going to appoint? We're not going to appoint any members. I guess you can move him up at this time. If the council is willing to do that.
Well,
because he is a member of that.
He is.
Oh, and Mayor Ash gets to save face too by saying move him
the
up.
council is willing to do that.
Well,
knowing that they're not going to.
He is a member.
Right now, it'd be moving him up to one of the. But if you have you got another reappointment. You got 2 reappointments.
We have 2 reappointments, and we would have to fill the alternate position.
There also was no second to your movement
Right,
at this point. Right.
But there's 5 members, and there's what 3
vacancies.
3 vacancies. You've got 2 reappointments in the mix.
If we so choose, yeah.
I don't know if you noticed this, but you see Joe Slocum flipping through the ordinance manual. He's got those pages pre-marked. He's getting ready to say that they can pick who they want.
You so choose for the 2 reappointments, and those are voting both voting members
right?
right now. Is there a vacant,
And there was the third vacancy that I'm
which was
proposing.
Jim Black's position,
Right.
which
See-
was the chair,
see
so
Joe
there
right
would
there?
be one voting member, could be moved into that position.
An alternate moved into that
And
position,
if
which
we
would
so
be
choose to
typical.
reappoint the reappointments, they'd hold their voting positions.
Right. That would be true.
So you do have one, you could move him up now.
Is there any reason why we wouldn't go ahead and do the other appointments now?
If that motion has died, I would make a motion that we reappoint Dan Miller and Dave Black to the Harbor Committee.
And I would second that.
That's a motion. A second?
Dan Miller's with
With
Belmont
moving-
Boatyard. He's that bald
Nope.
guy they just showed.
With moving
No, those are
wasn't
just
part of his
reappointments.
just the reappointments.
We're going to be left with one opening,
The
a mess
alternate's
of
out.
applicants, and a alternate who's
Out.
Okay.
Who's too honest?
I got a motion and a second. Any more discussion on that? I'll take that to a vote then. All in favor?
Look at that.
Opposed?
three
The
opposed.
three little
Okay.
piggies.
Okay.
Oink, oink, and oink.
So what's your pleasure, people?
God, this is so staged.
The alternate position does not currently have a vote.
That's correct.
Correct. Well, I'll make a motion just to see how it goes,
Right.
that we appoint Dan Miller, J.B. Turner,
Uh-huh.
and for the two vacancies, leaving the alternate or third open at this point?
No.
No, so I'll go ahead and nominate a third, which I would nominate Mr. Fockingham,
I'll second that.
the third. So that would be Dan, JB, and Mr. Fockingham, who I saw here earlier.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Mike?
Well, the good qualities of so many of the applicants, you want to add them into the mix. And TJ's a guy who really impressed me. I've known him since he was a character at Trustworthy Hardware many years ago. And I've been more and more impressed by him. So
Works at Viking right now, right?
he's a guy I'd love to have on there. I support JB. I think that they need representation there. I support Dave Black because he's been there 23 years. I think.
Yeah, shame on you people.
I think the board has improved over the last few years. A few years back, if it had ever been televised, the way the board, the Harbor Committee spoke in meetings, it wouldn't have been pretty. And I'm glad it's improved, and I think he's been part of that.
Yes, he
so
has.
I'm not going to vote in favor of this. I'm just saying where I felt about those three, but there you go.
Yeah, right.
And
Such a
it
hypocrite.
wasn't clear to me, were you intending for those three people to be all voting members?
Yep.
Or would you,
Yep.
and therefore you would not?
I would not move the alternate up to a voting. Those would be my three choices for the Harbor Committee.
Okay, I have had separate correspondence that suggested that if the gentleman in as the alternate were not moved up, which is a normal thing to do. We just talked about seniority, moving up in Margot over Declan because of seniority, that this person may choose to step down. And I think you'd be losing a very, very important resource, someone who's come up to speed and has an awful lot to offer the committee.
Well, Joe's got his glasses on. Here we go. The attorney.
I think it would be a big loss to lose him.
Joe?
Wayne is correct, and I apologize. I was looking at the ordinance because the Harbor Committee is referenced in both the charter and the ordinance. In the charter, which you have to make a charter change to change the number, it says there should be a standing committee of 5 voting members and 1 associate. Powers and duties are prescribed by state law, and the other powers and duties that the council may from time to time require of them. Now, there's another section in the charter that says, the city council may establish and appoint such boards, commissions, and committees not otherwise provided for in this charter, which it may be determined need to be done from time to time. What I'm wondering is, it sounds like appointing harbor committee members is tied to this major task that's in front of us right now of trying to develop an outer harbor plan. And the question is, because we were earlier, the council was saying, we do want to specifically charge the harbor committee with the responsibility of bringing us back the recommended draft plan for the outer harbor and coastal harbor somewhere by December. If you feel that committee's not full enough, if you want to add 1 or 2 more voices, instead of charging the harbor committee with that task, you could charge a group of people with that task, which could include all the members of the harbor committee, and if you wanted to add 1 or 2 other people into it. It's a little unusual, but there's an inherent right in the elected officials of a community to appoint an ad hoc task group to go investigate and look at something for us. And I can see where members of the harbor committee might say, well, I don't really like working that way, but sometimes you have these big issues that maybe you want broader perspective brought in.
Yeah, but this is to appoint members to
That's
the
all,
harbor
yeah.
committee, not to appoint an ad hoc
I
committee.
understand. So I'm just saying is that if your quandary is I've got a lot of qualified candidates and I want them to look specifically at this issue, is there a way to reassign the task to a combination of harbor committee members and boat enthusiasts or whatever you want to do
John?
for just this one limited thing?
It seems to me that we would still have to have a separate harbor committee and then, and I do like this idea, an outer harbor ad hoc committee, which might have to have separate meetings because of a lot of scope of harbor. The regular harbor committee is not just the study, but I could be very supportive of having an ad hoc
I was
outer
actually
harbor
thinking of
committee.
an ad hoc committee that would include the harbor committee and some others for this one task.
For this one task.
Yeah, one task.
For
And
a
then
period
when
of
that one task
time.
gets back, the ad hoc committee disappears, and what's left is the existing harbor committee.
I think that's a very good idea.
Ad hoc committee aside, which I support, the idea of, we have a motion and a second. I think we still need to appoint a harbor committee, and I think we're leaning, personally, I like the idea of this ad hoc, but
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion on the motion and second?
I would like to address John's concerns about the alternate. I understand what you're saying, but this is the first I've heard about it. And we've got these other people who've applied for the position. And we've been really lenient about people coming in, even up until this morning, filling out applications. Now I'm hearing another name being put in the mix that hasn't even been mentioned.
Well, it's because he is not at the end of his term. He's in the middle of his term.
I understand.
So he
He's
doesn't
serving.
come up.
I understand.
And because there's relatively standard city practice of advancing the affiliate over a new person
We have
added to the committee.
Hold people back and put people above.
Yeah, there has
I
been.
understand.
Precedence of doing
I
that.
understand it's been done, but
It's not always.
Not this time. It's been done, but not this time.
This wasn't just brought up now. I might support you.
Oh,
but
stop it.
I can't, in good conscience, overlook people who have applied when this person has, without.
He can't look at him with good conscience. He's an alternate, has been serving with waiting to get a permanent position. Jesus Christ.
Not apply.
No, he hasn't applied because he's already a member of the committee.
He's a member of the committee right
I
now.
know, but he's asking to be made from an alternate to a full member. No, in fact,
That's,
in fact, with all due
that wasn't
respect,
part of the question of who's on the committee.
He's already on the committee.
He's on the committee,
I'm
and his
correct.
term doesn't end for another year.
as an alternate.
That's correct.
Okay. An alternate is not a full member of the committee, to my way of thinking.
They're just a non-voting.
Non-voting member, so it's a promotion up to voting member. And with all due respect, he hasn't told me, you told me. You're not-
All
you're
due
upset,
respect.
and,
It's
uh,
automatic.
For that reason, if.
Good
like I said,
Lord.
We've noticed in advance, I might give it consideration, but I don't think it,
What a
I would
jerk.
not support it at the slate, last minute.
Look at these guys.
Let's,
That one guy that's like rubbing that had the glasses on, that's David Crabiel, I think that's how you say his name. He runs like the funeral home, and he's the chairman of the RS-71, this new school board. He knows this is totally corrupt proceedings. It's just unbelievable.
let's move the, so the motion is
Dan Miller,
Dan Miller,
JB Turner, and
That's
TJ,
the
Mr.
school
Buckingham,
PJ.
to be appointed,
Any more discussion on that? And Mary, you second.
to be appointed.
Any more discussion on that? And Mary, you second.
I second it.
Take it to a vote. All in favor of that? Gary? All opposed? I guess
That passes.
Yeah.
I think you count. 3-2.
Yeah, think of it.
3-2. Go figure.
And can we ask to bring that ad hoc committee back for discussion?
Yes.
Great idea.
To bring on 2 peons, right? Just to satisfy the people that didn't get onto the board. And just, I'm off here. Bye.